It's a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, you want to rock and roll? Driving on the highway, going to a show. Stopping on the byway, playing rock and roll. Getting round, getting stoned, getting beat up, getting a bone, getting high, getting shook. I'll show you folks, it's harder than it looks. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's either doing one night stands, trying to be a rock and roll band. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll.
Good evening, race fans. I'm your host, Caden Reif, and welcome to another installment of the 2006 season, of the NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series. Kind of hasty on the start of the broadcast here, but nonetheless, we're here from California. It is Infineon here from the Dodge Save-Mart 350 for race number 11 of 36 in this season, as we take to the first of two road courses on the Cup calendar. Take you to the racetrack to get started on your starting lineup for tonight's race. On pole is going to be the 42 of Tony Stewart, and joining him on the front row, ever the road course savant, is going to be the 12 of Ryan Newman right next to him. These two very quick road course drivers starting on the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid is Casey Kane in the 38. We'll start from the third position, and Kurt Busch will be in fourth place in the 01. Fifth belongs to Jeff Gordon, and sixth place will be Greg Biffle in the 16. Jeremy Mayfield, last year's winner in the 48 car that year, in the 26 this year, he starts from 7th, and 8th place belongs to Kevin Harvick. 9th will be Boris Said in the 00, and Matt Kenseth rounds out the top 10. 11th will be Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88, and 12th will be your points leader Jimmy Johnson, 13th Regan Smith, and 14th Carl Edwards. P15 will be Jamie McMurray, and Casey Atwood starts in the 16th spot. Ricky Hendrick will be 17th, and Robbie Gordon in P18. Bobby Labonte will be the 19th place car, and Scott Wimmer in 20th. 21st will be Kyle Busch, and 22nd, Martin Truex Jr. 23rd will be Mike Bliss, and Christian Elder will be in the 24th spot. Sterling Marlin will be 25th, and 26th, Jack Sprague. 27th will be John Wood, and 28th place will be the 21 of John Andretti. Jeff Green in the 96, 29th, and 30th, Jeff Burton. 31st will be Eric Norris in the 51, and the 4 car will be 32nd. That's Travis Kvapil for the first time this season in that 4. 33rd will be Mark Martin, and Ricky Rudd in the 34th position. Todd Bodine in 35th, Scott Riggs in the 36th spot. 37th belongs to Elliott Sadler, and Hank Parker Jr. in the 78 in 38th place. 39th will be Terry Labonte, and 40th, Brian Vickers. 41st will be Kenny Hendrick in the 52, and Chase Montgomery rounds out the field in the 68. He's 42nd. 42 cars as always, as we take you to the short half of pace lap to get this race started. 34 laps here from Sonoma. All these stock cars roar into life, and of course, Sonoma. Excuse my another mistake on my part. This would be the second of 3, given that Calder Park is on the schedule now. And we already did that race a little earlier in the season. That race won by Robbie Gordon, the second of his 2 victories. But nonetheless, 34 laps here from Sonoma, the most technical of the road courses on the calendar. And Tony Stewart in the 42 car will lead us to the green. As we get started here from the Dodge Save-Mart 350, Dodge and Pontiac on the front row, into the restart box as we are green here from Sonoma. Through the first complex as Tony Stewart takes away the lead from pole. A little bit of contact on the back as the 96, or excuse me, the 57 and the 77 got together as there was contact towards the back of the field going up through turns 1 and 2. And Scott Riggs and the 77 of Todd Bodine went off the racetrack. Mark Martin in the 28 also in the middle of that, but everybody held on to it and we stay green at least for the moment. No spinners, although actually, no, excuse me, the 01 of Kurt Busch off the racetrack on the left and gets hit, and they're wrecking in the S's. Hank Parker Jr. involved in it. Caution flag will come out early. Brian Vickers also got a part of that. Couple of cars involved as Dale Jr. held onto it out of the hairpin there. Turn 11 got tagged by the 2 of Regan Smith. A lot of contact early, and the caution flag comes out quickly. Tony Stewart takes the lead, and get a look back at this accident in the S's as Kurt Busch was off the racetrack and got ran into by traffic trying to get back on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why Kurt maybe didn't take the access road there. I mean, there's a good old access road, and he decided to forego it, merged back into traffic.
Looking like contact with the 24 of Jeff Gordon resulted in that as him and Gordon kind of ran each other out of room. Gordon, what a save by the 24, but Kurt Busch backs it into the wall and maybe with that damage can't see quite as well out of the mirror, trying to find his way back on the track. Thought he had an opening in front of the 78, but the 78 running all the way on the left side of the racetrack. That's Parker Jr. making his first race for Furniture Row. 44 involved in it. 68 of Chase Montgomery got a piece. And that brings out the early caution. So need a 77 car, and that will bring out, as we said, our first yellow of the night under the lights here in Sonoma. Top 3, I believe, still out on the racetrack. Yes, haven't made it to the pit entry yet, I don't believe, under this yellow flag. So we'll see if any of the leaders pit after just a couple laps. Tony Stewart in the lead early from the pole, got the jump on his front row partner, the 12 of Ryan Newman. And his teammate involved in that crash, winner of last week's race, off to a poor start here this weekend. So as we leave the S's headed towards pit entry, see if we have any takers here. Looking like the main race leaders are all planning on staying out here after just a lap completed under green flag. So with that, we'll take you to intermission here from Infineon. Tony Stewart in the race lead in the 42 car. We'll be right back here from the Dodge Save-Mart 350. Back from intermission here at Infineon as we get set to take another green flag. 42 car of Tony Stewart will be your race leader over the top three that has stayed unchanged. It is 42, 12, 38. Jeff Gordon sits in the 4th position, and Greg Biffle rounds out the top 5 in the 16. Coming back to the restart here as Stewart will lead the field out of the hairpin here this time. His car peels in on the left as we get all set to go. Rolling toward the restart box. Lap number 4 on the restart, and we are under green flag conditions once again as Stewart takes us to the restart as we head towards the hill. Great jump by the 12, looking all over the racetrack to try to find a way around. Contact behind as Boris said gets into Greg Biffle, and they're in the wall.
All 3 of those cars, I believe, should be okay, but they're going to filter to the back of the field, and it's very hard to pass at this racetrack, so that could be day over.
The caution flag, and it did. We're back under caution a second time right away. Contact behind the race leaders, as Boris said, got into Greg Biffle. They were 3 wide entering turn 1. Tony Stewart trying to run away from the rest of the top 5. As the field races back to this caution flag. That promotes Matt Kenseth in the 17 up into the top 5. We talk about bringing momentum. Had a good run last week at California, bringing some speed into this week at a driver's track such as Infineon, and running well here tonight. But still early goings here and a lot of chaos yet to come. Coming back to the caution flag as Tony Stewart continues to lead. We are back under yellow flag conditions here. And get a look back at the incident that brought out that caution flag involving the 16, 20, and 00. Yeah, it just looked like a really big jump from behind. The 20 got a huge run down the front stretch. 00 also got a good start on the 16 at Biffle. We've seen a lot of this last year and seen more of it again. The restarts just kind of stack up coming out of the hairpin. And Boris said, got opportunistic up the inside. Doubt he expected to be 3 wide and didn't give enough room on the right for those guys and backed it into the wall. Is the 16 of Biffle, 00, and 20 in the fence as well. 26 of Mayfield got a little piece of that. So that brings us back to yellow flag conditions. About half the field hadn't even crossed the line yet, so a lot of drivers didn't gain anything from that caution flag. Fell backwards quite a long ways. Did the 16, 20, and 00, but didn't lose any time to some of the others who had already taken the caution flag that time by. So Stewart going to lead us to the pits this time, see if any of the leaders come in to top off on fuel after a handful of laps. It'll be lap number 5, coming to lap 6 this time. Interesting to see what the plan is here for all of the race leaders. Looks like at least Mayfield will pit in to get repairs on the right side of his 26 Ford. An unsurprising revelation at that. 40 of McMurray coming in as well. 5 of Ricky Hendrick brings it down pit road as well. So a couple of pitters from the top 10 and 15. Most notably that 26 after the damage collected from that last caution flag. But the top 5 all stay out. Tony Stewart still the race leader. Take you to intermission once again here from Infineon. Back from intermission here at Infineon as we get set to go once again. Tony Stewart still leading, usual suspects in the top 5 that have remained unchanged thanks to the lack of green flag laps so far. It'll be 42-12, 38-24, and 17. Your top 5 as Jimmy Johnson moves up into 6th. That's your points leader back there. Pace car in on the left. Tony Stewart to lead the field to the green here. As we are all set to roll once again. Lap number 7 on the restart. Tony Stewart from the race lead. He brings the field to the green flag once more. A lot of stacking up in the back as usually expected. We'll see how this turns out back here. Not seeing any 3 wide, so everybody should keep it under wraps just about. Maybe a little contact up towards 2. Couple of drivers getting into each other, but everybody sorts it out for the most part, and we race up the hill towards 3 and 4. Racetrack still green. Tony Stewart filters into the lead. Jimmy Johnson just moved past Matt Kenseth for 5th. Restart all clean and green as we head now towards the S's through the chute. Dale Jr. with a dive bomb on Kenseth trying to make another pass. That'll be for 6th place. As those two go side by side through the S's. Couple of Fords in this mix. And Junior is through on Kenseth. Carl Edwards moved past Regan Smith. That was for the 8th spot. Other than that, everybody's still calm and clean up front. Contact behind as looking like the 77 might have gotten in another accident. Yes, he did. That was an incident with Jamie McMurray and Ricky Hendrick who just pitted. So the 5 got into the 77. Not enough room to work with there, and those two went into the wall. Racetrack stayed green. These guys got going very quick. McMurray will pit for repairs. As does the 83 and the 5. Dangerous pit exit, so we'll see how it goes with McMurray leaving the pits in the near future. 4 tires and fuel on the 83. Ricky Hendrick with a quick pit stop, and McMurray getting his repairs. So a tough day for most of the Ganassi garage, but instead, it's Tony Stewart leading. Done a lot of that this year, defending his Cup Series championship. He's a little bit of a ways ahead of Ryan Newman, who sits in 2nd. 3rd place still belongs to Casey Kane, 4th Jeff Gordon, and 5th Jimmy Johnson. Still repairs going on for the 40, who is going to drop a lap down here to his teammate Stewart. Everybody's still clean in the back. Couple of battles right at the end of the top 30. That is Kenny Hendrick going underneath Hank Parker Jr. for the 29th spot. Excuse me, 30th, as it was Biffle in the 16 up in front of that mix. 24 of Jeff Gordon came in the pits as well, and we see McMurray leaving the pits here. Not a lot of room to work with. And makes contact with the 57, but held it. But Riggs is going to get turned around. Riggs backs into the wall. Racetrack still green. Jeff Gordon came into the pits from the top 5. Issue for the 20, who's got a mechanical problem. And this will bring out a caution flag with that big incident in turn 2. So back under yellow flag conditions again. A lot of early yellows here from Infineon. Tony Stewart looking to lead the field back to this caution flag. Harvick trying to limp it around into the pits himself with a bit of damage. This caution flag comes out as the leaders take lap number 10 as we're back under yellow flag here, with Tony Stewart in 1st place. Get a look back at that incident that brought out this caution, as it was McMurray leaving the pits who got ran into by Riggs in the 57. And on board with Riggs, who just turned in a little too far, and McMurray trying to come out of the pit lane. And then contact with Harvick Resulted in the 57 getting turned around, went back end first into the tire barrier. And that is enough to bring out another caution flag, so the leaders have taken this yellow flag already. See what the plan is for pit stops this time. Under caution on lap number 10. So, coming to pit entry here, see if any leaders take. And the answer will still be no for the top 5. Seeing a couple break off further back, Truex Jr. and Scott Wimmer in the 23, as well as the 99 of Jeff Burton will pit in here. Take it at intermission again here, as the top 5 all stay out. Tony Stewart led every lap so far. That 42 car is still your leader. Back from intermission as we get set to go once again. It'll be lap number 12 on the restart with Tony Stewart still leading. Him and Newman still first and second as we roll out of the hairpin this time. .42 leading the field to the green once again. Back on the restart here. And to the stripe, we are back underway once again. Newman with a good start right up the back bumper of that 42 car. Couple of cars into the pits for a second pit stop here. 83, 33, and 5. Everybody else still clean on the start. As we race up the hill, Tony Stewart in the 42, leading over Newman, who sits in second. Stewart has led every lap of this race up to this point, but hasn't had much of a chance to be challenged with how much we've seen these yellow flags here tonight. Side by side between Edwards and Regan Smith, that is for the 7th spot. And Edwards fends off the 2 for now. Kyle Busch back there with a big dive bomb. That was on Mike Bliss for 12th. Racetrack still green. Saw McMurray into the pits again there. Everybody else still going. Down towards the short chute. Jeff Gordon made another pit stop, has had some struggles with his race car and been checking in the pits a couple times. Brief battle on the racetrack once again between Kenseth and Junior there. That was for the 5th position, though. The 88 still in front. Stewart pulling the gap to Newman in the 12 in second place. Holding comfortably onto that lead right now. Gonna have to keep checking up on the back end of the field. Stewart driving it very hard into turn 2 that time. Gives Newman a chance to maybe make up a little bit of time on that 42. See if we've got a battle for the lead brewing on our hands yet. Still over 20 laps to go. Coming to 20 to go at the line this time. Trying to close the gap to the race leader. Dale Jr. a bit of a ways off the racetrack there. Held on to his position. And the caution flag is out once again. Kurt Busch involved in another one. As well as the 26. In the same exact spot as last time. And Kurt Busch gets into it with Mayfield. Ran himself off the track and nowhere for the 26 car to go. A hard impact for Kurt Busch. And Mayfield definitely not happy with him at all. So that brings out another yellow flag. And we're back under caution once more. Wrecking way in the back of this field. A couple of free passes need to be issued here. A couple cars I did not issue free passes to, I believe. I missed one or two in the last one, although there were some cars involved in accidents that would have been waived that were not because of that, so I think 5 and 33. Should be all back on the lead lap here. See if we get pit stops from the leaders this time. Tony Stewart still led every lap of this race up to this point. And looking like we will see Stewart come in to make a pit stop. 12 of Newman will not. So the majority of the field coming in on this stop, but Tony Stewart, the race leader, will be one of them. Ryan Newman will stay out to inherit the lead, takes the 38 and 48 with him. So pit stops to be made by Stewart and quite a lot of drivers in this field. Probably a good 2/3. Pole setter Tony Stewart into his pit box to make that pit stop. Just prior to halfway. tires and fuel for Stewart, although Jack Sprague, with a shorter pit stop, wins the race off of pit road. So we'll take you to intermission here with the 12 car of Ryan Newman in the race lead. Back from intermission as we get set to go once again. It'll be Ryan Newman in the 12, staying out to inherit the lead. 33 will be receiving Lucky Dog. He'll be at the back end of the lead lap here. 5 of Ricky Hendrick got involved in an incident on pit road. Would have been put back on the lead lap if not for that. So he's still in the pit lane as we come back to take this restart. Mark Martin ducking off the racetrack in the 28 as we get set to take this next run. 12 will have the lead. Pace car in. As we are all set to go once more. Into the restart box, and we are back green. Racing up the hill. John Andretti looking for an overtake on Carl Edwards. Couldn't muster it. Now it's Christian Elder battling with him for the 5th position. And the 0 car goes around the outside of the 21 to make up a spot. 1 car off the track at the top of the hill. That was the 30. Casey Atwood, but he kept it on the road. And the leaders are now going to pit under green. This is even more bizarre. This race has just been going all over the place. So now the leaders who stayed out are instead going to take the pit stop under green, imagining they wanted to stretch the fuel to make sure they could make it, given that it was lap 16 prior to halfway. And there was a crash at pit entry, and the caution is back out again. Bunch of cars into the pit wall here. Oh, it was the 18 who got turned and couldn't make it back to pit entry and ran into the tires in front of the field. Got hit by the 68. That was Chase Montgomery who got into him. My goodness. This race just continues to get even more wacky, so we are under caution again. Jimmy Johnson has inherited the race lead, though I will imagine he would want to take that pit stop that he had not done. So Johnson now the leader, at least for the moment. We'll see if he does indeed take this pit stop. Just a very, very wacky race here at Infineon. And yes, we will be seeing pit stops here from plenty of the top runners. Some will stay out. Some who already pitted will pit again. Jimmy Johnson in. And to stay out and take the lead, it is the 57 of Scott Riggs. 40 will receive Lucky Dog. Scott Riggs is now your race leader. Taking an intermission here from Sonoma. This race just got weirder. Just past halfway here from the Dodge Save-Mart 350. Back from intermission here at Sonoma as we get set to go. Scott Riggs stays out, and he will not take the race lead. Instead, he's going to pit here. Robbie Gordon in the 31 will instead be your race leader. I couldn't really tell you what's happening anymore, to be fair. It's a Childress 1-2 now. Robbie Gordon and Casey Atwood will be the two leaders onto the restart, and the restart is instead getting delayed. The field stopped coming into the hairpin. Can't even keep character. We'll be right back. Try it again here on the restart. It'll be lap number 21. Pace car in. See if they actually let us go green this time. Seeming like that will be the case, as Robbie Gordon will lead the field to the restart. Lap number 21 as we go green. It's Robbie Gordon in first. Wacky pit strategy here in this one, and we are back underway once more. Everybody clean in the back, it seems like. A little bit of contact here and there. And then the 20 of Harvick goes around. Backs it into the tire wall off the bumper of Martin Truex Jr., who just came in to pit. Racetrack stays green. A rough race gone even worse for Harvick, as he will just about get it back onto the racetrack. Heavy damage on that 20 car. Meanwhile, the two Childress cars 1-2. It's Robbie Gordon and Casey Atwood leading the field. Eric Norris and Sterling Marlin fighting for the third position right now. Field keeping it together for the moment. See if we can get a green flag run this time. Everybody jostling for position back here at the final few spots of the top 5 as the two Childress cars, Gordon and Atwood, have absolutely checked out and are now a long way in front of second place. That belongs to Sterling Marlin, or excuse me, third place belonging to Sterling Marlin. Contact with Ryan Newman and Eric Norris. The 12 and 51 off the track. Elliott Sadler slips through. 83 makes up a position. Casey Kane up forwards a little bit further. Newman and Norris way down the order now. And wrecking up front! 21 and 78. Caution is out again, I believe. Yes, it is. Hank Parker Jr. involved in another accident. Got turned around, it looked like, by the 0 of Christian Elder. Yeah, ran it way wide. And, yep, just got tagged in a hard impact there. Involved in it with the 21, that was John Andretti. And that brings out yet another caution flag in this race. We go back to yellow. Robbie Gordon in the lead. Take you to intermission right away to save some time. Going to be inside the final 10 laps here from Sonoma. So a quick check back in here. Actually, didn't even click the intermission screen, so apologies for that one. 99 car of Jeff Burton blew up here, and the top 4 are all going to pit. That'll give the lead, Jesus Christ, to Casey Kane, who just got ran into by Carl Edwards, underpacing. Inside the final 10 laps, the 38 car will have the lead now. Handful more go into the pit lane. We'll be right back here from Infineon once more with the 38 in first. Coming back to the restart here, this race has just continued to go all over the place, and with 10 laps to go, race leader's Casey Kane in the 38. He sits in front of Carl Edwards in the 97 car. Terry Labonte will be in third. Jack Sprague holds on to fourth, and Christian Elder will be in the 5th position coming to the restart here. into the restart box. And once again, we are back green. And did need to give a lap back to Elliott Sadler, who would be the free pass. And he just got turned around. And that will bring out another caution flag. And more carnage up front as the 0 got taken off the racetrack while we were paying attention back there. And he went up and over. Huge crash for the 0. Goodness me. Gotta look back further at that when we come back to this caution flag. Carl Edwards trying to chase down Casey Kane, who holds on to the lead. And is pulling away from that 97. Coming back to this caution flag as we are under yellow again here from Sonoma. It has been an absolute caution fest of a race. And Kane will have it. 38 car, your leader once again at the yellow flag. And get a look back at the incident there in turn 1 as Ryan Newman really just sent it straight up the inside of the 0 and into the wall, popped him up and over. What a crash for Christian Elder, who was 5th on that restart, had a great running position and flips wildly into the grass. Hard, vicious crash for him, and that will be the end of his race. A promising race today. And we will take you to intermission again. Final 10 laps still. 9 to go at the moment. Casey Kane, race leader. Bringing it back on the restart here once again. Casey Kane, your race leader, looking to maybe have a shot at finally closing out this first win. It'd be a very, very strange race to do it, but you take what you can get. News under that caution flag, no real pitters, but the 4 of Travis Kvapil blew up under the yellow flag and has retired from the race. So that will be the end of his day. A lot of laps left in this thing. And should end of longest line this 83. If possible. To give him the lucky dog that he was supposed to have received last caution flag, but guess they're not going to pass him. Sure. Coming back to the restart here, Casey Kane will lead the field to the green. And we are back underway. Everybody racing up the hill. Jimmy Johnson making some contact with Mike Bliss there. Looks like everybody in the back is okay for now. Make sure that that car is not black flagged. So him in the 40 will be given free pass. And now we can get back down to racing as this race continues to wind down. What a run by Kenny Hendrick at the moment. The Ware car in the 52, running in the 5th position at the moment. Jimmy Johnson, the points leader, sits right behind him. Casey Kane pulled a gap to Edwards in the 97, who sits in 2nd. Trying to hold off his fellow Ford late in this race. Carl Edwards winless last year. Only has a career win to his name. Casey Kane still winless in the Cup Series despite a title challenge last season. Two of the sport's most talented young men battling for this race win late. Everybody's still intact at the moment. Couple of hitters at the back end of the field. We'll stay out of harm's way for the race leaders who continue to wind around this racetrack. Kane trying to run away. Jimmy Johnson way off the racetrack there. Everybody else still clean. At the line, 5 laps to go for Casey Kane. Carl Edwards trying to run him down. It's been a great run late for Terry Labonte, who runs in 3rd. Jack Sprague in 4th with another solid run for Hendrick. And Kenny Hendrick in the 52 car has put together a stellar late race run in the top 5 in that 52 car. Casey Kane, despite the fact that it took strategy and so many wacky pit stops for him to wind up here, he was one of the better cars in this race. Spent the early portion of the race in 3rd behind the 12 and 42, who were the best cars in the field at the start. Ryan Newman involved in some accidents. Tony Stewart taken out of it by pit strategy. He sits all the way back in 11th place. And now has just 4 laps left to hold off Carl Edwards for what could be his first career win. Down through the S's as the 38 continues to hold that margin over the 97. Fairly slim, relatively. And for Kane, that gap looks like 1/1000th of a second. 3 laps to go for the 38. A couple cars went into the pits there. The 24 of Jeff Gordon just went down pit road. Looks to be the only car who did so. Edwards ran nearly an identical lap to Kane the last time. It was just 0.003 off the 38 car. Gordon into his pit box and away. Tops off on fuel. Kane and Edwards have ran away from the rest of the field. It's just these two right now. We'll see which one of them plays it perfect to the end of this race. Edwards into the pits. Does Kane have enough fuel to make it? Could we see fuel mileage here? The caution flag is out. That could very well end the race, and I do believe it will. Kane has the lead. We are under caution. An incident involving Mike Bliss and Kyle Busch that brings out the yellow flag. Bush just got into the 81. A huge impact for Mike Bliss, and Kyle Busch climbs the tire wall onto his side. A hefty, hefty hit for that 81 of Mike Bliss. Took a vicious hit. He'll be all right. A hard crash. So we are under caution now, and that will end this race. It's just going to be a matter of if Kasey Kahne has enough fuel to guide it around the racetrack 2 more times behind the pace car. Carl Edwards ran out from 2nd place. Kahne is so tantalizingly close to closing out this race. This is the most important part, coming past pit entry here to see if Kahne has enough fuel. Fellow Ford Edwards ran out of gas. Kahne will stay on the racetrack. 1 lap to go at the line under yellow flag. Teammate Mark Martin running out of fuel behind. Kahne's just got to make 1 more lap under his own power. And with this 38 team, you gotta wait until the very moment he crosses that line before making any judgment on if he's got it. We'll accelerate around here. Save you a little bit of time coming back to the finish of this race. What a very, very interesting race it has been today. An absolute head scratcher in so many different ways, and we saw so many different problems here tonight. And he's just got to pass pit entry 1 more time to solidify his name in the history books. And he will. It has been such a long time coming for this kid. It started all the way back at Bristol in 2004 when Yates absolutely dominated the show. He was the latest one, got robbed by Kurt Busch. Vegas 2005, thought he had the car to win it, ended up on the wrong side of history with the strategy. Did it again at Vegas last time out at that racetrack. It's finally happened. Do you believe in miracles? This kid sure does. Kasey Kahne has finally won his first career NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series race. He does it here at Sonoma at one of the best drivers' tracks on the schedule, and he finally has won his first Cup race. Such a long time coming for this kid, and the monkey has finally been lifted off of his back. He wins it after a wild one here in Infineon. Terry Labonte, a surprise second-place finisher in the 14 car. Third place belongs to Jack Sprague in the 55. Kahne's teammate Dale Jr. will be in 4th. A great day for Yates all around up front. And Jimmy Johnson, the points leader, he'll be in 5th. Rounding out the top 5 here today. Boris Said will be in 6th. Another great result for him. And Haas CNC. Tony Stewart, one of the better cars on the racetrack. He finishes 7th. New Team Hall of Fame Racing with a nice run. Jeff Green brings home another good finish for them. It's 8th place for the 96. Regan Smith, another good run, was up front for a lot of today, and a good race for him. And props to the 2 car as he brings it home in 9th place. And Matt Kenseth, another confidence-boosting run, 10th place for the 17. That is your top 10 after 34 laps here at Sonoma, but the big story is this Yahoo Ford. Casey Kane finally has his first career win and does it in no better fashion than to win at such a difficult racetrack like Sonoma. And definitely can't say he didn't deserve it. Had such a good race car today. Started in third. Ran up front pretty much the entirety of the race, and even with a little bit of damage on that machine, though, to be fair, pretty much everybody did. Doesn't matter to him. Casey Kane has finally won a cup race, and he can breathe a sigh of relief putting that Yahoo Ford in victory lane for the first time in his career. That'll do it here from Infineon as race number 11 comes to a close as Sonoma rounds out that round of the season. Casey Kane, your winner. Next week, it'll be the Coca-Cola All-Star Challenge. It'll be a fun exhibition race before our next points race to round out the first third of the season, the Coca-Cola 600, up next on the points tally for your NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series. I'm Caden Reif. Nate joined me in the booth for at least a little bit of this one. He was not here for the end of it, but a big thanks to him as always. We'll catch you next time, and have yourself a good one.